It's been over a decade since Lucha Underground premiered in late 2014. At the time, it was a breath of fresh air for fans hungry for a new pro wrestling presentation on TV. The show ended in 2018, and its stars have gone on to a lot of different places. An endearing element of Lucha Underground was its willingness to showcase some absolute weirdos, and the Reptile Tribe was definitely made up of 6 of them. The group held the promotion's trios titles twice, with 2 completely different groups of 3. All 6 have ended up in some pretty vastly different places. Pindar is better known as Steve Payne on the Mexico and California wrestling circuits. He's currently the head trainer of the House of Pain Wrestling School in Los Angeles. Drago, who left the Reptile Tribe and later feuded with the group, still wrestles frequently around Mexico as Dios del Inframundo. Vibora kept his reptilian mask and signed with AEW as Luchasaurus. He later joined up with Christian Cage and was renamed Killswitch. Dago has taken his talents to Japan and is part of Team 2000X in Pro Wrestling Noah. Cobra Moon has since achieved immense success in both the NWA and AEW as Thunder Rosa. Snake, formerly known as Jeremiah Crane, continues to wrestle under a name that is far more familiar to the current fans of TNA, Sami Callihan. Though he was mostly silent under that mask, Prince Puma was essentially the main character of the first couple seasons of Lucha Underground. He was the promotion's inaugural champion, winning the title in the first ever Aztec Warfare match. He was also one of only 2 men to hold the title more than once. For fans of companies like New Japan Pro Wrestling and PWG, the tattoo on Prince Puma's chest was a dead giveaway that the performer under the mask was Ricochet, who often performed unmasked in those promotions. After 3 seasons on Lucha Underground, Ricochet chose not to re-sign there. He instead signed with WWE in October 2017, around the time the 3rd season finale of Lucha Underground aired on the El Rey network. With all his athleticism and potential, Ricochet's WWE run, which lasted until June 2024, was kind of a disappointment for his fans. He debuted in AEW that August at All In London, and his fortunes have been on the upswing since. A well-timed heel turn has kept him sniffing the main event scene there.
When was the last time you saw Prince Puma?
He's in Mexico somewhere. He's out of Mexico. He's taking care of the orphans, man.
Like Swerve Strickland, the stock of all 3 members of the Black Lotus Triad from LU has risen dramatically since the show ended, leading many fans to ask, wait, they were on Lucha Underground? The Black Lotus Triad arrived in LU to get revenge on Pentagon Dark after he broke the arm of their namesake, who was Savannah in WWE. And they did. They whipped him in a gauntlet match that lasted nearly a full episode. Its 3 members are indeed massive stars now. Hikatori, who eventually pinned Pentagon in that match, is none other than the WWE Women's World Champion as of the making of this video. Io Sky, who had made quite a name for herself in Japan and Mexico before arriving in LU. Doku is Kairi Sane, another Japanese superstar who has gone on to WWE fame. Yurei was the former IWGP Women's Champion, Mayu Iwatani, who was the ace of stardom in Japan, but now wrestles for Marigold. It's well known now that Penta and Rey Fenix are brothers. During their runs in Ring of Honor, TNA, and AEW, they often performed as a tag team, the Lucha Bros. But on Lucha Underground, their relation was largely kept quiet. They were both singles stars in the temple, with Fenix performing as a beloved babyface and the man then known as Pentagon Jr. starting out as a heel. Pentagon was that other performer besides Prince Puma to hold the Lucha Underground Championship twice. His journey to the darkness and out the other side, he even changed his name to Pentagon Dark for a while, was a major storyline in the show's early seasons. Fenix was also a top star in the promotion, becoming its first ever Triple Crown champion. Both Penta and Fenix debuted in WWE in 2025, and at least so far, they've split back up into singles acts there. As of the making of this video, Penta is on Raw while Fenix performs on SmackDown. But who knows, they may reunite somewhere down the line. The unmasked face that American wrestling fans were most likely to recognize on Lucha Underground was
Hola, it's the mayor of Slamtown, Johnny Mundo.
Though they'd known him better by the names he had in WWE, Johnny Nitro and John Morrison. The real-life John Hennigan won the 3rd season of WWE's reality series Tough Enough in 2002 and stayed with the company until 2011. His time in Lucha Underground, which was all 4 seasons of the series, was part of a very successful 7-year tour of the independents, which included stops in TNA, MLW, and Mexican promotion AAA. Johnny Mundo not only wrestled in the main event of the first ever Lucha Underground episode, defeating Prince Puma, but he also wrestled the very last episode of the series too, defeating the monster Matanza Cueto. Not only did Mundo become the second Lucha Underground Triple Crown champion, but he also met his wife there. Taya came to Lucha Underground through AAA and became Mundo's on-screen partner. They married in 2018. After stops in TNA and WWE, they now both work for AEW and Ring of Honor under the names Johnny TV and Taya Valkyrie. Haunted, mass former sniper Killshot was a memorable and pretty successful member of the Lucha Underground roster, holding the Trios championships twice and appearing in all 4 seasons. His brutal showdown with Dante Fox, aka AR Fox, the Hell of War match in the Season 3 finale, was a celebrated moment from the show's run.
We're seeing 2 fighters. We're seeing 2 soldiers. We're seeing 2 killers go at each other.
The man under that mask went on to be far more successful than just about anyone on the LU roster after the series ended. Yes, it's Swerve Strickland who spent some time in WWE as Isaiah Swerve Scott before jumping to AEW in 2022. In April 2024, he became the first black AEW World Champion. He held that title until the All-In event at Wembley Stadium that August. He lost it to Bryan Danielson in the main event, making him the first black wrestler to headline a Wembley show. Swerve routinely has run-ins with his old Lucha Underground rivals in AEW. He's had quite a few more matches with Fox, and recently feuded with Ricochet. Lucha Libre is best known for its high-flying acrobatics, but a less appreciated element of the art is how a bigger wrestler can help make the jaw-dropping moves happen by serving as a solid base. Very often, that base on Lucha Underground was not a man, but a machine, Cage. Cage did just about everything a wrestler could do throughout the 4 seasons of LU, including ripping the original championship belt in half, earning the Gift of the Gods title, and winning a possessed gauntlet. The biggest victory of Cage's time in Lucha Underground was a real-life one. He met his wife, ring announcer Melissa Santos, on the show. They married in July 2019. Now wrestling under his full name, Brian Cage, the big man has been in AEW since 2020. He's a former member of Team Taz and FTW champion. He recently became part of the Don Callis family. The man who portrayed the vicious hunter King Cuerno was already quite familiar to Mexican wrestling fans under a different mask. He had wrestled as El Hijo del Fantasma in CMLL and AAA since 2008, and is the real-life son of legendary luchador El Fantasma, who is also the head of the Mexico City Boxing and Professional Wrestling Commission. Lucha Underground gave El Hijo del Fantasma a chance to play a different role, and he did so with a lot of swagger.
My name is King Cuerno. I collect luchadors like trophies.
King Cuerno made a big impact upon his arrival in the temple, and went on to win the Gift of the Gods championship. Unfortunately, his time on Lucha Underground ended on bad terms. El Hijo del Fantasma and a group of other performers sued the promotion, its production company, and the El Rey network over what they claimed were overly restrictive contracts. This suit was eventually settled out of court, and the performers were released from their deals. After losing his mask at Triple Mania 26 in 2018, El Hijo del Fantasma signed with WWE and was renamed Santos Escobar. He's now the leader of the Legado del Fantasma faction. A lot of fans' introduction to Lucha Underground came through viral clips of a lanky South African wrestler diving off of the roof of the office inside the temple and into the ring. That was Angelico, looking to help out his trios partner Evilise and Son of Havoc. The unlikely group held the trios championships twice, including the inaugural reign.
Anything that's new in wrestling, much like Lucha Underground, has a bit of a boom around it.
Angelico has spent the majority of his career in Mexico. He was trained by the legendary Ultimo Dragon. His work in AAA and IWRG would lead him to the temple, and even though a large portion of his run was hampered by injury, his insane viral moments earned him a cult-like following. That earned him a contract with AEW in 2019, and he was part of the company's first ever pay-per-view alongside fellow Lucha Underground alum Jack Evans. Evans has since moved on from AEW, but Angelico is still with the company. He primarily wrestles on Ring of Honor programming as part of the Spanish Announce project with Serpentico. Both of the voices of Lucha Underground were grapplers who took up commentary duties. Matt Striker had come from WWE, where a career as a mid-carder shifted to commentary and host roles. Vampiro was best known to American audiences for his time in WCW, but had lots of experience in Mexico and Japan. He jumped from CMLL to AAA in 2005 and took on a booking role in the company, which led to him taking the LU commentary job. Striker mostly stayed behind the desk for the full run of Lucha Underground, but Vampiro got in the ring for one of the promotions promotion's most memorable matches. He was revealed as Pentagon Jr.'s master and faced him in the violent Cero Miedo match that ended after Vampiro went through a flaming table. Vampiro has continued wrestling, primarily for AAA, including going on a retirement tour of the promotion throughout 2024, when the company's goal was to lean more into nostalgia. Striker has landed commentary gigs with AAA and New Japan. He called Wrestle Kingdom 9 and 10. He also worked for TNA during the COVID-19 pandemic. The stars aligned for Lucha Underground in 2015. Frustrated by injuries and his booking, the most famous luchador in the world, Rey Mysterio Jr., allowed his WWE contract to expire. That allowed him to appear in LU Season 2, bringing some major star power to the series.
The world needed Lucha Underground.
Mysterio became a focal point of Seasons 2 and 3 of Lucha Underground, acting as a mentor figure who wanted to pave the way for the next generation of luchadors. He would win the Lucha Underground Trios Championships with Dragon Azteca Jr. and Prince Puma, the latter of whom would go on to have a dream match with the legend. Mysterio chose not to renew his deal for Season 4, opting to travel to other promotions and events, including the inaugural All In across the next 2 years. He returned to WWE in 2018 and has been there ever since, including being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Jake Strong only appeared in one season of Lucha Underground, the last one, but in doing so, he earned a distinction no one else has. He held 2 championships at season's end, making him the reigning and probably last Lucha Underground champion and Gift of the Gods champion. WWE fans knew him by a different name, Jack Swagger. Swagger was in the company for 11 years and held the World Heavyweight Championship once, but he was released in 2017, paving the way to LU. After his one season in Lucha Underground, Swagger had a successful run in MMA and made his way to AEW in 2019 under his real name, Jake Hager. He spent most of his AEW time in groups with Chris Jericho, eventually leaving in the spring of 2024. The second season of Lucha Underground revealed the often discussed but never before seen monster Matanza Cueto. He won the Lucha Underground Championship in his very first match and was a dominant force on the series until he was killed off in Season 4. That odd character death was a result of the previously mentioned legal action against the producers of Lucha Underground. The man under the mask, Jeff Cobb, was also unhappy about his contract status. During and after his LU run, Cobb worked in PWG and New Japan. He also made sporadic appearances in AEW, but now he has made his way to WWE, debuting at Backlash 2025. Matanza was the on-screen brother of the man behind all the madness at the Temple, Lucha Underground owner and promoter Dario Cueto, who had a pretty unhealthy obsession with violence. Cueto was played by Spanish actor Luis Fernandez Gil, who's staying busy with movie and TV roles. He also continues to be part of the wrestling scene, playing a character similar to but legally distinct from Cueto, Cesar Duran for MLW in their MLW Azteca sub-promotion.